Hey everyone, this is Brainwaves, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you what I do when I have writer's block and how I overcome it most of the times. So for me, writer's block comes when I'm not inspired to do anything. So my most important thing is to get ideas out quickly, and when I have writer's block, I just cannot get those ideas out. So what I do is I first start looking for a reference track, something that inspires me, something, maybe a new song from someone that kind of inspires me, or that I kind of want to do something similar to it. And I just put it on Ableton. So I try to be on the same BPM that I'm trying to write. In this case, I'm trying to write in 140, and I found this song in my library, which is actually kind of an old song, but I like it a lot. And so I just put it in here and I line it up on my Ableton. And after that, after I put it on the grid and it's on time, what I do is I just start copying the exact drum pattern. I just kind of want to make things as easy as possible for me, and I don't want to think that much. And so what I'm going to do is just I will listen to this and I will just copy the drum kick and the snare pattern. Alright, so that's the first step that I do. Now I have a drum pattern that I know that works. And then I can add my own hi-hats. Once I have this pattern, it's kind of easier to just write a nice groove on my hi-hats because I have a foundation already. And the next step for me when I have writer's block is to look at the song structure, the song arrangement, in this case the drop arrangement, because 99% of the time I start with my drops when I'm writing new ideas. And so the next step for me would be to look at the arrangement of this track, to look at the drop structure basically, and to mimic that into my song. Something that helps me a lot to visualize the arrangement, and that helps me, with what I should do next, is I just put 3 empty MIDI tracks, and I call them A section, B section, and fills. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take a listen and take a look at the structure of this. And on the A sections of the drop, I'm gonna create an empty MIDI clip. Then for the B section, I'm gonna do the same. And for the part that is little drum fills or bass fills or anything else that is not main synths, I'm gonna just fill out with a MIDI clip from this channel. So this would be an A section. Then in here it's a fill, and this one it's the turnaround, the response, the B section, whatever you want to call it. And at the end there is that another fill, and we get back to the A section or call another fill, and again the B section and A fill, and that repeats on the second half. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this. So what do I do with this? Why do I do that? What is the purpose of doing that? So right now that I know where I'm gonna put like my A sections and where I want to put my B sections or my call and responses and where the fields are going to go, it's way easier for me to start building from there because I don't have to do any guesswork anymore. I don't need to think of how I'm gonna structure the drop because I have it right here visually. I know that this is where the A section is gonna happen. I know that the fill goes in there. I know that a B section goes in there. And so now all of the guesswork is gone. I now have to write ideas out, and I try not to focus on the ideas being good or bad. I just write stuff. I don't overthink it. I just go with the flow, and I just try things out basically. But I took the guesswork out of this, and that's like the main thing that helps me when writing, when I have writer's block. This doesn't mean that you're gonna create like the best song of your life doing this method. Some, like a lot of great songs have come out of this, but you know, sometimes bad ideas also come out, and that's completely fine. You don't have to, you know, put your self-worth in your music. You are not your music. You are a music producer. You do music and it's part of your life, but you are not your music. So don't get bummed if what you do is not great that day, because that has nothing to do with you. So now that I did this, I'm just gonna start writing ideas out, and I'll probably just skip this part and you know, for the video, because it may take me a long time to just, you know, write these ideas out, and I don't want this video to be extremely long, so I may just come back when I have something and I'll show you what I did. Alright, so now I have an idea of mine, and it doesn't sound anything like this reference track, because I wasn't going for the vibe of the track. I was going for the structure. That was what I was mainly referencing. So I'll play it out, and I'll go through what I did and how I follow the structure that I mentioned with these guidelines, basically. Cool. So this may not be the most complete drop idea or something, but that's okay. I just wanted to get something out of this exercise. And let me start from the drums. So obviously the drum pattern, I changed some kicks from the reference track at the end, because it was matching more of the vibe for this type of drop, which is completely fine. And then I added some really simple hi-hat loop, hi-hat pattern, and a couple of other extra top end percussion. So this is how my drums are sounding. A cool trick for the hi-hats to not make them all sound exactly the same level is to put an auto pan and turn the phase down and play with the amount of underrate. And now you get like that kind of sense of velocity, and you know, a more realistic feeling of for the hi-hat. So just some quick tip in there. So that's basically for the drums. Pretty simple drums. As I said, I mainly referenced the kick and drum pattern, the kick and snare pattern from this track. I ended up changing up the position of some of the kicks, but it's mainly the same drum pattern, which is completely fine. I don't feel like I'm stealing anything because, you know, millions of tracks have like the same drum pattern, so it's nothing like to be ashamed of. So that's for the drums. Then this is the interesting part, the synths. I took some time to color and group and name these sections the same as this reference that I have, so it's like more visually notorious what I'm doing, and you know, for example wise and tutorial wise, I think it was like a good idea to do that. So for the A section, I know that it was going to be this length and that it had to, you know, to fit with these drums. So I started playing with some, you know, racks that I have, and I came up with this. So this is some simple, you know, sine waves with some distortion. And well, I have a couple of things that are gonna be available in my Patreon this month. So like this rack and also this other rack. So yeah, if you like those sounds, they're gonna be on my Patreon, those Ableton racks. So that's for the A section. Then I knew that I have to have like a little fill in here, so I have this. So that's for the fill, this first, you know, fill. Then I knew that from the guideline, the turnaround was needed in here, something different and something that contrasts the A section. So I created this B section, which are two vital presets. And from there, it's kind of like a variation of this first call and response. That's the great thing, that once you have your first call and response, it's way easier to continue building from there. So second, you know, the drum pattern changes a bit. I used the same melody, but I put another sound in here instead of this one. And change like the octave of this. So tiny changes that made a difference, definitely. In this case, I just used one of the fills instead of two of them, and I have like a cowbell. And yeah, I didn't cover the fill in this B section, but it's also really simple, you know. And in here is like, again, a variation of the first one. So it's this one is actually a preset that is also going to be available on my Patreon this month from Vital. So if you like Vital and if you like that preset and all of that what I'm showing, you can go ahead and check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. I'm constantly dropping a bunch of new content in there, so yeah, go ahead and check it out. And second half, pretty similar to the first half. Mainly the turnarounds or the B sections is what are changing, but I keep the same structure, the same arrangement. So in here, this same, you know, sub pattern is going on, but I added some and I got that weird thing with weird pattern that I kind of liked, so I put it on top. But you can see that the main idea of the first A and B section carry throughout the whole track. And so once I had like this going on, it was way faster to, create this in the rest of the drop, basically. And creating this wasn't that hard because I already knew like the structure that I wanted to have. It was just a matter of playing with presets or making new presets or just finding cool sounds. But a lot of the guesswork was out of the window already. Lastly, just to fill out this drop, I put a bunch of background effects like impacts, glitches, some like chants and vocals and stuff like that, just to make the drop feel fuller. So this is how this group sounds. Again, finding like where the sounds needed to be was pretty easy because I already knew like the structure of the drop. So I first created the synths and then I created these effects to follow this structure and to help with the flow. So it was pretty easy. It was just a matter of dragging and dropping samples in here that match it and that created and that helped with the vibe of the song. So that's pretty much it. This is how I write when I'm having writer's block, and it's pretty helpful, to be honest. Mainly, the copying the drum pattern and then having like a visual guideline for the arrangement. That's huge for me. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful. If it was, please leave a comment, subscribe, leave a like, and I hope I see you around.